Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about traveling from Istanbul in Turkey to Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And it looks like pre-pandemic travel is back for the most part, based on my recent trip. On June the 30th, 2022, I arrived at Sabiha Gökçen International Airport in Istanbul, and I arrived 4.5 hours before my flight. This was partly due to my friend arriving a little early to pick me up, and partly to make allocations for Istanbul traffic. I was dropped at the Haverbus station in Taksim, and it cost only 53 lira for the hour-long trip to the airport. I wasn't surprised to see no one wearing a mask on the bus, as this is normal for Istanbul, but I was surprised to see that the mask requirements had been dropped at the airport as well. As I traveled through 5 airports during the pandemic, where masks were mandatory, and rightly so, it was a welcome scene, actually, to see that the mask mandates had been dropped, and hopefully this signals the end of this difficult pandemic. Something that was a little different for me with Sabiha Gökçen International Airport was that everyone had to go through security on entering the airport, whether you're a traveler or not. Fortunately, I was able to check my luggage through many hours before my flight. I had 2 bags weighing a little over 28 kgs, and the weight limit for my tickets was 27 kgs. So God bless the woman who checked me through, and she didn't mention or ask for payment for the additional kilogram. She also didn't ask for any vaccination proof or the health questionnaire that I had to fill in to enter the Netherlands. She only requested my passport. After checking both the Netherlands and the New Zealand government websites, I knew that I didn't need a visa for the Netherlands. However, she admitted that this was her first New Zealand passport and had to call someone to check the requirements. The Schengen zone is going to introduce an online visa waiver system, similar to the US and Canada, which will be fully operational in May 2023, but until then, I don't need to apply for anything to enter the Netherlands. I got my boarding pass and was off in search of coffee and breakfast. After check-in, I had to go through passport control to officially leave the country, but this took forever. I have no idea why it took such a long time, and it seemed that the foreigners actually breezed through whilst the Turkish citizens were questioned more, so I'm not sure what that's about. After this, there was another security checkpoint. I don't particularly enjoy these checkpoints, as they often result in me having to throw away my bottle of water and purchase another, take my laptop out and put it into the plastic tubs, take everything out of my pockets, and take my belt and boots off. Although my boots seem to be fine for Turkey, thankfully. I long for the days, please bring back the days when a simple scanning machine was all that you needed at the security checkpoint and you didn't have to actually get undressed to go through. Out of interest, I wandered through the duty free as I wanted to get a bottle of Calvin Klein's Euphoria, but it was ridiculous. I have been traveling internationally since I was 14 years old, and it seems that duty-free has become a bit of a scam. I was shocked to see that their prices are actually way more expensive than in the stores now, which was never the case before. As you can see, the price for a 50 ml bottle of Euphoria was $82, which is 86 US dollars and 111 Canadian dollars. And it was 106 euro or 110 US dollars or 142 Canadian dollars for a 100 ml bottle. I knew instinctively that this was a ripoff, and so I checked the prices on Walmart Canada's website. I chose a middle-of-the-range retailer to check the comparison. The 50 ml bottle was 47 euros or 49 US or 63 Canadian, and the 100 ml bottle was 55 euros or 57 US or 74 Canadian dollars. So it seems that duty-free at Sabiha Gökçen International Airport was making a nice little 35 to 51 euro profit. I didn't go through duty-free when I got to Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, so I don't know if they're doing the same thing, but that's what they were doing in Sabiha Gökçen. So then I chilled at Starbucks with coffee and breakfast. I people watched, and then I headed for a wander through the airport, which isn't very big, but I knew I'd be sitting for many hours, so it was good to stretch my legs. Once my gate was assigned, I headed in that direction, and it was crazy. A bunch of flights were about to board, and there was very little space for people to line up. I waited for the pandemonium to settle, made a quick dash to the bathroom before my own boarding time, and then when I returned to my gate, no one was there. So I thought, okay, great. Most people have boarded. And then I was told that no, the flight had been delayed an hour and the boarding gate had also changed. So as I was about to leave, I noticed that there was a woman who only spoke Arabic and couldn't understand the airport staff or what they were saying. And they were really dismissive of her, which I found disappointing. So I told her to come with me, quickly typed a message into Google Translate to let her know what was going on. After 3 months in Turkey and spending a weekend with somebody who didn't speak any English, I'm very familiar, and it's easy for me to type quick Google Translate messages. She was in tears and she was panicking. She couldn't find her family, but fortunately we found them en route to the new gate. My passport and boarding pass were actually checked whilst I was sitting at the gate, which is a new experience for me, and my boarding pass was stamped. So I just figure that it was an effort to save time during boarding, but I'm not sure why. Finally, we were on the small aircraft and on our way to Amsterdam. Almost no one wore masks on the plane, including the flight attendants. And it seemed to me that we are back to pre-pandemic travel, bar the need to prove vaccination status, which I did at Amsterdam Airport. The line to get through passport control also moved pretty slowly, but when it was my time, I got 3 questions. Why are you visiting the Netherlands? How long are you here for? And do you have a friend or family here? After answering visiting, 1 month, and yes, I'm staying with a friend and need to catch the train to Tilburg now, respectively, to those questions, she seemed satisfied. I asked her if she wanted to see my vaccination paperwork. She said yes, and then stamped me into the country, and I was off to baggage claim. As I volunteered the information, I have no idea whether she would have asked for proof of vaccine or the vaccination certificate, the vaccination paperwork I needed to fill in for the Netherlands. Even through the worst of the pandemic, some countries that had online requirements for certain proof and paperwork to be completed didn't ask me for anything when I arrived, and I had painstakingly completed everything. So now I just volunteer everything that I've done. A piece of advice from a seasoned traveler: just complete everything and volunteer it to the airport officers. It makes life so much easier and helps you get through checkpoints so much more quickly. As the line had moved slowly, I waited only seconds for my bags to come around, and then I headed off to buy train tickets to Tilburg. I also stopped quickly and bought a SIM card and 5 gigs of data at a kiosk at the airport. It's a tourist SIM and expires after 3 months, which is the visa period, and as many do now, it seems. It was probably a smidge more expensive than buying it in the city, but I'm glad that I did, as there was no Wi-Fi on the train to Breda, and I needed to let my friend know that I was on my way. I always get a SIM and data when I travel, as staying connected when you are a woman traveling alone is very important. Plus, Google Maps is my lifeline to get where I need to be. Roaming charges are astronomical, so this is a much more economical option. Buying the train tickets was very easy, and the woman who helped me was wonderful, and she gave me 2 options, told me where to go and what to do. The trains were prompt, clean, and very comfortable. The landscape was also very green, and in just over an hour I arrived in Tilburg and was being whisked away from the station by my friend and into my little garden cottage, where I will spend the month of July, split with her apartment in Amsterdam. It was wonderful to feel like I was in pre-pandemic environment and experience a little normality returned to travel. For the most part, I felt like I did when I traveled a few years back, but there are still moments where you jerk your head up as someone sneezes or feel the need to wash your hands or avoid crowded spaces, and I think we will have these moments moving forward. But it is also amazing how quickly we can adjust to feeling comfortable again in a post-pandemic world. As I traveled extensively during the pandemic due to visa restrictions, it was a pleasure to return to relaxed travel, to a relaxed travel environment as I journeyed from Turkey to the Netherlands. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative for those that are making the same journey or coming into the Netherlands. And thank you for watching.